exploitation of motherhood. And I will, as always, give the floor first to the Council and the Minister for European Affairs, Bjerre, and it's a pleasure today to have so many Danes in the room. Please, the floor is yours.
Mange tak. President, honourable members, Commissioner, thank you for the opportunity to discuss this very important topic. Combating violence against women and girls is our shared responsibility. The Parliament and the Council have long been working together to end this violence. Most recently, with the adoption of the Directive on Combating Violence Against Women and Domestic Violence, and also the Directive on Preventing Combating Trafficking in Human Beings and Protecting its Victims. But we also know that our work is far from complete. Building on recent results, the Council adopted last week conclusions on violence against women and domestic violence. These conclusions focused on three important pillars: prevention, early detection, and intervention. Both the national authorities and the public play a role here, especially in spotting violence earlier, supporting the victims, and raising the alarm. Men and boys should also be encouraged to help prevent, detect, and intervene against violence. They may also be victims of violence themselves and have gender-specific barriers to reaching out for help. Honourable members, in the EU, approximately 2 women are killed every day by a partner or a family member. And gender-based violence costs the EU approximately 290 billion euros each year in social benefits and lost labour. Yet we still have many who believe that we already have achieved gender equality. Violence against women is rooted in old social attitudes, gender stereotypes, and restrictive social norms. Stopping it requires efforts on many fronts. Action at the level of member states is key, but the EU can also make very important contributions. The work involves many different areas of life. One is the digital world. New forms of violence are starting online, including through the misuse of AI. We must adopt our policies to this. These include the non-consensual sharing of intimate or manipulated images, cyber-stalking, cyber-harassment, and the incitement to violence and hatred. In an equal society, everyone, including women and girls, should feel safe to take part in the digital world. We must protect women and girls against these risks. A specific case directly relevant to us women in politics is online harassment against women politicians, a form of violence that damages the very foundation of our democracy. The fight for gender equality and stopping violence against women and girls is a duty and a priority. It is about standing up for our values, principles, and our democracy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now for the Commission, Commissioner Dan Jørgensen, please, the floor is yours.
Honourable members, thank you for this opportunity to stress the importance of combating violence against women. Freedom from gender-based violence and violence against women is a pillar of our current gender equality strategy. We've made historic progress in the past 5 years. The EU accession to the Istanbul Convention was the first step. The EU is now bound by the highest international standards on combating violence against women. The second major step was the adoption of the first ever EU law on combating violence against women and domestic violence. We thank the European Parliament once again for the crucial role you played in the negotiations. Your strong dedication and spirit of constructive compromise made this long-awaited result possible. With this directive, the same high standards of prevention, protection and support to victims will apply across the EU. And on prevention, one point is key. We must prevent rape by promoting a culture of consent. The directive offers particular support for mothers who are victims of domestic violence and who need to find shelters for themselves and their children to be able to leave a violent relationship. The directive makes sure that there is room for children in shelters and interim accommodation, and that the rights and needs of children are ensured. This will also put mothers more at ease in these difficult situations. The directive also criminalises certain forms of violence at EU level, including forced marriage, which is a form of sexual exploitation of the woman or girl. And to help women and mothers to escape violent relationships and start a new life for themselves and their children, we must promote women's economic empowerment. Gender equality policies help women and mothers to become financially independent. Our achievements over the past years are not the end of our work on gender-based violence. As long as the headlines continue to report cases of femicide, domestic violence, sexual violence, we will not rest. That is why in March, the Commission presented the Roadmap for Women's Rights, reaffirming the EU's commitment to advance gender equality and women's rights. The roadmap will underpin concrete policy initiatives that will be defined in the next gender equality strategy. 1 week ago, Commissioner Lahibib hosted an event in Brussels to celebrate the broad political support that the roadmap for women's rights received from European political, institutional and civil society leaders. The European Parliament, the Economic and Social Committee, the Committee of Regions, the European Investment Bank and all 27 member states endorsed the roadmap's declaration of principles for a gender-equal society. We are all committed to the same guiding principles in our future actions. The very first principle in the Declaration of Principles is freedom from gender-based violence. Together, our goal is for every woman and girl to have the right to security and to be treated with dignity, both online and offline, in public and private. Only by being free from violence can women enjoy and thrive in all aspects of their lives. To further empower women and their families to make life choices that reflect their aspirations. It is also key to advance the other principles of the Roadmap's Declaration of Principles. It is essential to ensure that every woman has the right to the highest attainable standards of physical and mental health, the right to equal pay for equal work, the right to equal employment opportunities and adequate working conditions, the right to balance her professional and private life, the right to high quality and inclusive education and training, the right to actively and safely participate in public life, to mention just a few of those rights. We've already made some steps in these directions with the legislation and policy initiatives adopted in recent years. Now we need to make sure that these legislations become a reality on the ground in all member states. Only then will women and men equally thrive in our societies. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner.